Well, it's finally tomato planting day. Hi everybody, welcome to Living Traditions Homestead. My name is Sarah, and if you have been following us along, you've seen that we have been redoing our garden this spring, putting down a special kind of weed paper or weed fabric actually, putting up our trellises in the garden, and so now it's time to finally start getting planting. And the most important veggie on our homestead is the tomatoes. We use them for tons of things. We can a bunch of them in a bunch of different ways. Our family eats a ton of them fresh, and so this is the time that we are super excited to get to in the spring is tomato planting season. So today I thought I would talk with you a little bit about what kinds of tomatoes we plant on our homestead, and how we plant them, and give you guys a little tutorial of how to plant tomatoes, at least the way I plant them. Now, I think everybody who plants tomatoes and grows them successfully has their own tips and tricks about how to do it well and everything like that. So I'm just going to share with you my tips and tricks and just how we do it here on the homestead. So the first thing I want to show you just real quickly is this trellis and this fencing. This is how we are going to be supporting our tomato plants. We don't use tomato cages anymore. We've tried that, different shapes and sizes. We've made our own. But last year we decided to go this direction with this fencing, and it worked really well. And I'll tell you that it also allows us to plant tomatoes much more intensively than we have ever done in the past. I actually plant our tomato plants 18 inches apart. Which is far closer than I think a lot of people do. But this method has really helped us. And as the tomatoes grow, we support it with different strings around the plants as they grow taller and taller. Last year it went really, really well for us, so we're going to give it a try again this year. There are a few major plants that we are going to be planting, some varieties. We will be planting our very favorite variety of tomato, which is the Jet Star. Next up is the Celebrity. Those we will use for slicing and for canning diced tomatoes. And then for sauces, we are going to be trying two kinds of Roma type tomatoes this year. One is called Opalka and the other is called San Marzano. And those will be the bulk of what we're planting here. The total number of tomato plants we're planting this year is 60. We'll have a couple cherry tomato varieties in there. We're going to be growing black vernissage, green vernissage, chocolate cherry, egg yolk, and Riesentraub. And I'm going to be trying one black brandy wine tomato plant. It's not a cherry, but I want to try that and see how it goes. One of my good friends says it's fantastic, so I want to give it a try. So those are the varieties that we're trying this year. We're super excited. We've got a lot of work to do. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I've been planting already. I'm a little bit more than a quarter done planting all of the tomatoes. Kevin and I have been working as a team like normal. He's been digging the holes for me, and then I go from hole to hole and plant. He also, actually both of us, burned the holes into this plastic to give us an area to plant into, and then we'll direct the drip system on top of the plants so they can be watered effectively. So I think we're going to get started. So today with you, I'm actually going to plant a couple of our Jet Star tomatoes. We started all of our own tomato seeds and grew all of these. We set aside a bunch of them for our family, and then we've been selling them at the farmer's market. But this is what they're looking like so far. We're super pleased with how healthy they are and how good they look. They're pretty tall. So when I plant tomatoes, I try to plant them pretty deep. And we'll see. Let me just put that down in the hole and I can show you. It's going to be planted, I'm going to be planting that to up about here, okay? And the reason you want to do that, plant them deep, is that roots will grow in the hole. On this entire length of the stem that you put down under the ground, you'll get a really nice set of roots, and it'll be a really healthy start and a healthy foundation for these tomato plants. So in order to do that, we want to either cut or pinch off these bottom leaves. And I'm going to take them off all the way up to here. And when I get them in the hole and covered up, if I need to remove this one as well, I will. But I don't think so at this time. So we're going to take this out of the pot. And you do that by supporting the tomato plant, you know, with your fingers here. And just tip this upside down and hold it and support it here. You can pat on it a little bit and then press down in the center of that pot like that, and then it should easily, you could be able to pull very easily and take that right out of that pot. Look how gorgeous that looks. Look at that wonderful root system there. So happy to have grown these ourselves. Okay, so before we put this in the hole, I have one of my secrets to growing amazing tomato plants, and it starts right at this very step. If you've been watching us for any time at all, you know that we raise a lot of rabbits, and rabbits create amazing fertilizer through their poop, rabbit poop. So in the bottom of that hole, I am going to put at least one, maybe 1.5 handfuls of rabbit manure, and I have a bucket of it here. It's dry stuff. Now, I didn't have to cure this. You don't have to compost rabbit manure. You can use the rabbit pellets just the way they are. If they're not wet and soaked with urine, go ahead and use them. These were from the top of a pile, and they are ready to use. So I'm going to put one, get some of that hay out of there, and I'm going to put another handful in there, okay? And that will be great for this plant down in there. And I'm going to put this tomato plant right on top of that. I'm going to put that down in here. I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to plant that on the outside of this, this fencing. And I'm just going to set that down in there. And this hole should be big enough around that there's maybe an inch around that little pot-sized soil block all the way around so that you can put dirt down in there. And the next step is for you to kind of start backfilling in that hole with your loosened dirt. And then you're just going to help the soil go down on each side of that tomato plant and the little soil block. And you do that so that you are eliminating any air pockets. And the air pockets, if there are air pockets down in that hole, that will make those roots dry out. It won't necessarily kill the tomato plant, but it really is not very healthy for it, and those roots won't be able to grow into the ground around it. So I'm going to keep backfilling with this loosened soil. I'll break up a little bit of it as I need to until it gets up to the top, and I will continue pressing down on the dirt firmly. Keep backfilling until all that dirt is used up. And in my case, because I'm using this weed fabric, when I get a pile that kind of is over top of that weed fabric, I'm just going to lift it up and push it underneath there. Okay, so technically your tomato plant is planted, but I have two more things I'm going to do. The first thing is I'm going to give it a little water. I want to give it a good start. Now we do have a drip system, but I don't want to use the drip system right away because it will water the entire garden all at once, and I have a lot of planting to do, and a bunch of water is going to make the soil really goopy and gloppy and hard to work with for planting. So I'm just going to be watering these individually, slowly right now, so that the water can get down through the soil and into the soil block. And then I'm going to top it off with another 1 or 2 generous handfuls of rabbit pellets. Now, rabbit pellets on top of the soil are like perfect time release fertilizer capsules. When it rains, when you water with the hose, you know, all of that moisture will go through the rabbit pellets, and their natural fertilizer will start seeping into the ground, and it will over time continue to fertilize that. So there you go. One tomato plant planted in the ground. I've got lots more to do, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you how we plant tomato plants on our homestead. Hopefully you can learn from us. Well, I hope you guys found this helpful. I love being in the garden. I love planting, and I really do enjoy sharing my knowledge with you guys. So I hope that you got something out of this today. If you are not a subscriber yet, right now is a perfect time for you to hit the subscribe button below, because then you'll get notifications of when we put out videos, and you'll be able to see the progression of our garden and these tomato plants right here throughout the summer, and how much they produce and how much I preserve out of them. And also, we are doing a giveaway. We just recently hit 20,000 subscribers and are doing a giveaway for the next week or so. So make sure you check out that video and comment and subscribe so you can participate in that. You guys, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care and God bless.